lives in Europe. Its name is not very accurate because it's not the female but the male that carries the eggs entangled round his legs. There may be 60 or so of them, and he carries them for 6 or 7 weeks. When the moment comes for hatching, he takes them down to water and the tadpoles simply swim away. Some toads spend all their time in water. This creeper from Brazil, instead of laying and abandoning 6,000 eggs like the European toad, lays a mere 100 or so. But they look after them in the most extraordinary manner. The male, with these elegant and careful movements of its hind feet, takes care that as many eggs as possible are gathered together on the female's back. And they stay.
Don't put it on that. Come on, let's go wash our hands. Come on.
Then the skin on the female's back begins to swell. Eggs rapidly become embedded in it.
Who's it? Show the shape, Mummy!
Soon a membrane grows over them to enclose them. After only 30 hours, almost all the eggs have disappeared entirely and the skin is complete again. After nearly 3 weeks, it's moving. And then, after another 3 weeks or so, young begin to emerge. Now the parents leave the young to fend for themselves, but at least they're now independent swimmers, able to find hiding places for themselves. So a much higher proportion is likely to survive than would have happened if they had been abandoned as eggs. This little South American frog also lays her eggs and young on her back in a pouch with an opening just above the base of her head. Her developing young remain inside it for 3 months or more, until at last she releases them into a pool as tadpoles. They're already on their way towards their final change into the adult form, for they have their back legs. These many differing ways of carrying their developing young may seem extraordinary enough, but some other frogs in South America actually retain their tadpoles inside their bodies and in the most unlikely parts. There is one which calls in the beech forest of southern Chile. It's Darwin's frog. These little creatures, only a few centimetres long, are all males, even though they vary in colour. They're still courting, but the actual breeding is over. The females have laid their eggs in groups of 30 or 40 on the forest floor. As soon as the males see a movement of the eggs, they will, apparently, eat them. Each male may take a dozen or so, but he doesn't swallow them. Instead, they go into his vocal sac that runs down the front of his throat, and there they develop and wriggle. The males sit about, struck dumb by their own offspring. But eventually, after some weeks, their extraordinary vocal pregnancy comes to an end. And here is that amazing birth once again, in slow motion.
Look.
The male's vocal sac is now ready again to sing before its turn next season once more.
No, turn it back off.
But the prize for the care of the young must surely go to this frog that lives only on a remote mountain in Wales. The female, only about a centimetre long, keeps the eggs inside her extended oviducts and holds them there throughout the 9 months of the dry season. As they grow, she secretes internally some white flakes. The tadpoles, moving around freely inside the oviduct, eat the flakes and digest them in their gut, just as they would do if they were outside in a pond. When the rain comes, she gives birth. Her stomach and oviduct don't have muscles which can contract and expel the young, so she does it by bracing her body against the ground with her forelegs and inflating her lungs so that they bulge down into her abdomen and squeeze the young out. And they're born fully formed froglets, a real triumph of parental care. By providing their young with moisture of some kind and using all these varying and astonishing techniques, frogs and toads have managed to colonize almost all the world. Even so, you would think that with their thin, permeable, moist skins, they would never be able to survive in the parched desert of Australia. But 1 or 2 species manage to live even here. They spend nearly all their lives buried deep in the ground away from the murdering sun. They may lie here for years, waiting. But eventually, the rains